Welcome back to Module 2 of ConsignPro training. I'm Brian Wilson, and I took you through Module 1, and we're going to pick up in Module 2 where we left off. Module 1 had us add a consignor to the system, add an item to the system, make a sale, and lastly take a look at how that consignor's account was affected. Module 2 will show us how to pay out a consignor, how to look at some sales reports in the system, how to void a sale, and how to sign in and sign out of the system. That should take us through about 10 minutes of training. I'll start by going into Find Consignor. I added a consignor to the system. The consignor was number 2, but if I didn't know that, I could look up the consignor by either their phone number, email address, or last name. I'm going to do email address and click Find, and here comes the consignor into the system. Now interestingly, I had two consignors in the system, consignor number 1 and consignor number 2. Both I used the same email address for. I can use these arrows on the screen, the pink arrows in the middle, to go to the next consignor. That was consignor number 2, or the one that I worked with in our last training session. Consignor number 2 has a balance of $8.55, and now I'm going to go through how you pay that balance out and how you show the consignor exactly what they got paid for. To pay a balance out, you're going to click this Payout Balance button in the bottom center of the screen. That's going to bring up our consignor balance payout window. In here, you can adjust the amount that you'd like to pay the consignor, or you can put in a date to say, I'd like to only pay this consignor for items that were sold through a certain date. So today is August 5th. I could put July 31st in that box, and it would take off any items that sold in August. I'll keep that box blank right now and just do a $6 cash payout. If I wanted to do a check payout, that would be easy too. I could click on check payout, put in the check number, and simply process the payout. We'll do a cash payout. I could also print a payout report for the consignor to sign. That's showing that they received their $6. I'm going to click on Process Payout for my $6. It will notice immediately upon doing that, the account balance goes from $8.55 to $2.55, indicating the money was paid out of their account. If I go into their account activity, because the consignor may want a history of what they got paid for, it will show that they have one item sold for $8.55. It'll show the $6 payout, which could have just as easily been $8.55. And if I print this activity to my printer, they'll actually see what items got sold. They'll show their cash payout, and everything on the screen is basically a history of transactions that affected this consignor's balance, whether the balance went up because they made a sale or whether the balance came down because you did a payout. I'm going to close this screen now, and I'm going to jump back to our main menu. I'm now going to go into reports, and I'm going to take a look at and see how that sale we did earlier today was affected on these reports. I'm going to look at a sales activity report for today. You can put on the screen, by the way, any start and end date that you'd like. I'm going to use 8/7 through 8/7, but I could just as easily put July 1st through July 31st. When I print this report to the screen, it's giving me a big message saying that I don't have a printer. Well, I know that I do, so let's see if we can fix that. There we go. That looks a little bit better. I'm going to maximize that, and then at the bottom of this window I've got 3 little rectangles you probably can just barely see. I click those rectangles and it's making the report wording bigger for me. This report shows 2 sales for today. It groups them both under cash, so it'll give you the breakdown by payment type, and it shows that I collected $26.32. I'm going to close this window. I'm going to look at my consignor payout report also for today and print that to the screen. I'm not going to sort it by last name. And I maximize that, change the print size, and I see there's my $6 payout that I did earlier today. So ConsignPro is tracking all of my sales for today, all of my payouts for today as well. If I want, I could look at an income statement for today, You got a bunch of choices here in this drop-down list, including at the bottom we've got pick my own dates, so you can specify any date range you'd like. I'm just going to do today. I'm going to print this to the screen. You note that I can print it either to the screen or to my printer. And up on the screen comes a nice income statement. In the income statement, we show our revenues, including sales taxes, of $27.82, and we show a cost of goods sold. Those are the cost of the consigned items we sold today, minus some discounts, and then we've got to subtract the sales tax back out to get my total expenses. My total income for today was $11.55. So you can see from this, we've got a range of reports that can show you how much sales came in, what your income looks like for all of the money coming in, less money due to your consignors, and you can also see what you paid your consignors. Now, all of the reports on our reports page, not all of them, but a good handful of them, are also available on our shutdown screen. When you exit the program at the end of the day, you can print a sales activity report automatically, itemized sales report, vendor sales report, income statement, and an end of day summary. The end of day summary is my favorite. It really contains everything in one place. I'm going to jump back to the main menu. And I guess lastly, we'll take it from there into the Lookup Invoice section of the program. Lookup Invoice is used to do returns. If a customer bought something from you and you have a return policy, they might return an item to you, and the Lookup Invoice screen is used to void a sale that previously occurred. If they have their sales receipt, the invoice number would be printed right on that. I don't have one handy, so I'll use this calendar tool for the 7th, which is today, to pull up my 2 sales that I did today. I'm going to click on this one over on the left where I've got a button that says View. And there's my item that I sold earlier. It was item number 2. Some jeans that I sold, $17.10. If you want to void, if you've got many items on the sale and you only want to void one, the best thing to do is click on this void column up here. That will tell the system you don't want to void the entire invoice, you just want to avoid one particular or 2 particular items off. To continue with the void, you can either hit void items, or you should first select where you want the money to go. Is it cash back to the customer? Is it back to their credit card if you're using our X-Charge credit card system? Or do you want to put money into a consignor's account? I'm going to do a cash refund, and when I hit void items, yes, customer due $17.76. I could print a new sales receipt to hand to the customer showing them that they got the refund for those jeans. I'll say no, because I don't have a printer attached. This screen also, by the way, is used to reprint sales receipts. On this screen, we've got a button that says Print Invoice. So if there was a problem with the original sales receipt that came out during the point of sale, you could always use this screen to reprint an invoice. So this screen is used really for 2 things. Well, 3 altogether. Voiding a sale, reprinting an invoice, or, as I just remembered, if you want to change the payment type on a particular item or a particular sale, you can change it right on the screen. You don't have to void the whole sale and then re-ring the whole sale. You can just change the payment type right on this screen. That pretty much concludes training module 2, which, if we recap, had us look up a consignor, pay out a consignor's balance, take a look at some reports on a reports page to see how those were affected, look up an invoice, and void a sale. Let's go look up item number 2, which should now be back in an available status instead of sold, and it can be sold again. This item that we voided, by the way, belongs to consignor number 2. So let's go into consignor number 2 on the main menu, find consignor, look up number 2. We notice they now have a credit balance of $6. And if I go into account activity, it shows that item was returned. The $8.55 they got paid for was returned. They now owe us $6. That $6 credit balance will become a positive balance once they start selling more items on their account. You'll also notice on the bottom of the screen they've got total sales representing $17. And while this isn't a number that you'd use for accounting, You can very easily tell who your best consignors are just by glancing to the bottom left corner of your screen. That concludes our second training session of ConsignPro. Join us in Module 3, where we'll take a look at some more features of the program. Thanks.